It's up.
Talking about what we talking about. I can do this all day. What we talking about? What we talking about? We talking about. I ain't feeling what you saying. What we talking about? From time to time, every set of brothers argue. You gotta listen in to catch a glimpse here from our view. Finish every debate that I'm in. Gonna start it at the same time tomorrow. We run it again. Ain't no stopping us. What we talking about? What we talking about? I can do this all day. What we talking about? What we talking about? What we talking about? I ain't feeling what you saying. What we talking about?
Muted. Muted, Jay. No sound. Hey,
You hear me now?
there you go.
Yeah, my bad. I was about to say we're back from another episode of the Arguments Podcast. How you doing, man?
Doing good, baby. We're chilling out, but we're here in the building.
Okay. You know, your sound is a little distorted. I don't know if it's me or you, but there we go. There we go a little bit. Okay. I don't know that cutting the audio or cutting the video does anything, but all right, we straight. We straight, man. So listen, we got a lot to talk about today, man. Just us two. Dynamic duo. Normally it's about four of us, but we don't know where one guy's at, and the other guy, he's out here handling speed training camp. So clearly it's not for him though.
He
But
ain't
man,
fast.
listen, there's a lot going on. We had a lot of sports happen this past week that we got to jump into. But let's go ahead and dive into the first part, which is the national championship game. Ohio State, Notre Dame can start off a little bit of a dud. We wasn't sure what was going to happen. We were very, very interested in seeing like whether one team is going to be Notre Dame is going to be able to hold up against Ohio State's offensive firepower.
Yeah.
And the matchup between those receivers being Jeremiah Smith versus the DBs of Notre Dame. And at one point, man, it was going to look like it was going to be a clean wash up. And man, it eventually Notre Dame kind of kicked in, made somewhat of a game, and then we got what we got at the end. So first of all, let's start off. Give me your thoughts on that game.
I thought it was a game. I mean, we talked the previous week before, like what can Notre Dame do to, stay in the game? They play a lot of man defense. Can they hold the receivers down? But they let the running guys get loose. But we talked about Notre Dame putting those long drives together to try to, minimize the firepower for Ohio State. But over time, bro, it just wasn't sustainable. The first drive, Notre Dame went down. I think they took like 7 minutes off the clock. Very efficient drive. And on the text, you like, man, that's not sustainable. You know what I'm saying? It was like, yeah, it was hard, but it's hard holding down the firepower Ohio State. Will Howard had a great game. They utilized their backs. I don't think the receivers went off like they had the previous game, but they did enough. Jeremiah Smith, man, that kid, that's just a man amongst boys. True freshman. He's gonna be a problem in the next couple of years, and hopefully Ohio State can keep it. There's like rumors that boy might hit the portal for $4-5 million. Who knows? But shout out to Notre Dame. They changed the image that people have of them, especially in the past where they are not a physical team. And shout out to their coach, man. He's making them a physical team, and I think if they can get them a quarterback next year, they're gonna be right back in the picture because their schedule is never the hardest, even though they play some ACC teams. But they never play like a gauntlet of a schedule. But it just wasn't sustainable. Ohio State were warm down and made it a game at the end, but it was just a little bit too late. And congratulations, Ohio State.
Yeah, man. I think one thing you're right. Through our group text, I definitely said this is. There was no way you're gonna be able to run that quarterback 9 times in the game on a drive. One, him be being able to make it. Like it's not gonna happen. It was sustainable. And then the Ohio State game, their offense is so explosive. It's like a team that if you can't score at least 25, 30 points, you got to slow the pace down. And then you got to have, I think what I noticed, and I think when they went on defense for Notre Dame it wasn't the back, it was the front end. Their D line was getting whipped. And I remember saying, like, bro, like, it ain't no way this game's gonna be a game because their D line they're not providing any pressure on the quarterback when he's dropping back. And the run game was getting at least 3 or 4 yards, 5 yards each carry. So Notre Dame would have to play perfect. They would have had to be able to run the ball, average these 5, 6 yards a carry. Also, the quarterback, which is not his game, it has to be somebody who can throw the rock constantly. That's not his game. The quarterback run had to be a mixture in it. It was so many things that had to go right for Notre Dame. It just was not going to do it unless they got turnovers. That's the only way they're going to win that game. They were able to make Ohio State turn the ball over. And I don't call Ohio State being great at, like, they're not great. I've watched the majority of the season. They don't look like their receivers do a lot of turn the ball over as far as like carrying the ball kind of loose, doing stuff like that. It seems to me like when they get turned over, it's the quarterback. So if you're not getting pressure on that quarterback, I just knew this game was going to make it, bro. So you can see that. You can see that happening. And this, you got to give the team their credit. Like this is what, big boy football is. You got to be up front. You got to be stout. I thought the Texas game was really a national championship game because I think both fronts were playing so physical. I mean, man, like, so it really, to me, that's where you saw where Notre Dame just didn't have enough.
And I seen Notre Dame had a lot of injuries on the O-line. I think 2 or 3 players were out. The left tackle was out. But shout out to Notre Dame, man. They made it when people didn't think they would make it, especially losing early in the season. I think it was Northern Illinois. They heard the chatter, but like I said, their schedule is never daunting to where like it's the Big Ten or the SEC, but you're playing a gauntlet every week. So I think Notre Dame gonna be right back there again next year, man. It's just how their schedule shape out.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's the second year. Next year, the quarterback's already said he's coming back.
Riley Leonard coming back.
So yeah, I think that's gonna help his second year in that offense. He's got to work on some of his game, work on his throwing motion for sure.
They need to go back a little bit.
I think once he starts getting more comfortable in that offense, understanding what's being asked of him, I think they'll be a pretty good team next year. They do start the schedule a little tough. I think they got Miami the first game of the season. So, they are playing some better teams. They're just going to have to continue to keep building that bridge because at some point people are going to be like, well, this is unfair. You're not playing top tier opponents. So,
Navy, you got Purdue, like,
you're just not playing the teams that you should be playing. Now, what do you think this game did or just win the national championship? What did it do for Ryan Day, his legacy?
I think it quieted the doubters. I think that the chatter now I don't know if the chatter will ever stop at Ohio State because they're investing a lot of money in their program. Every year they feel like they should be in the championship game, playing for national titles. But if I'm Ryan Day, you can't keep losing to Michigan. That's for sure. I mean, I don't care if you have won a national title. Alumni are going to continue to get on him for losing to Michigan. But at the end of the day, I think it quieted the noise. The investment of $20 million into their roster this year, it paid off. And now you got to continue. It's a sustained success. The way college football is now, man, like you got to re-recruit the same player. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like
true.
It's hard to keep up and keep paying the recruits from flipping on signing day. But man, Ryan Day, he's an exceptional coach, man. I think the pressure at Ohio State to win every single year is unfortunate. He's a great coach. I think if they would have fired him, he would have had a job the next day. It's kind of like at Alabama, bro. Like you're used to championships every single year. And if you don't get there, like it's like the shit's a failed season. And that's where Ohio State Ryan Day is, but he quieted the doubters for at least a season.
Yeah, I think for Michigan, I hope they understand what they have here. Like, a guy who's had instant success since he's been at the organization. Now, I understand, he had a well-oiled machine when he got it. He was already there, as I think as an offensive coordinator. We had a well-oiled machine with Urban Meyer having recruits, having players. He's done a great job continuing that legacy of bringing in top-tier talent at a university that's in the middle of nowhere in Ohio State. So, right, let's be honest, like it's in Ohio, it's not in California. So, bad weather, snowstorms, all these type of situational things. Good institute, great institute, but it's not the ideal place a lot of people want to go to college and be there for 3 to 4 years of their life. So he's done a great job of bringing in a lot of continue that movement of bringing in top tier talent. I hope that Ohio State fan base realize that this guy's a good coach, and what you have here is a guy who keeps you competitive year out. I think people don't realize how great that is to have somebody who can keep you competitive. It's kind of sort of like they kind of forget that, like, being competitive is the key.
Yep.
When you're no longer in the national championship discussion, you really look at it differently versus a team that's in there every year in, year out. I think that's what people don't realize, and kind of had a problem now with even with just Alabama, for example. You use that example as an organization that year in, year out been there. And when they're not there, everybody's like the wheels are falling off, the house is burning, and it just needs the time for him to get back. So he hasn't even had that year in, year out. This guy's always competing for the national championship, and he just had some rough luck, bad games, really good teams he faced. Now it's his time and his opportunity, and I hope they continue to keep showing him, that he should be there, and that he doesn't get to a point where he gets annoyed or have an issue with it. And like I said, also it's good for the fact that he's able to take this and now basically say, take that, say, I turn a monkey off your back, but take that situation now and say, okay, now that I'm there, the pressure should be there, and maybe going on a run. I mean, dude's been a pretty good coach for a very long time. Let's just be honest with you. The guy's
like you said,
one of the top 3, 4 coaches in the game.
Yeah, definitely. He's one of the top coaches, man. And every year they got a shot. That's he won't like every year. Every year, and especially in these climates of NIL collectives, man. It's hard to keep in these players, man. Like, honestly, like I wouldn't be surprised if Jeremiah Smith hit the transfer portal. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody offered him $7 to $8 million.
They offered him 4.5, and he still didn't put forward. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the kid, if you really think about it, the kid only got 2 more years. Yeah. He's got next year and then the year afterwards. And they pulled in the quarterback, one of the number 1 quarterback recruits that transferred there last year. He was at Bama, Justin Sane.
That's where he going?
Huh?
That's where he going?
He already did. He transferred when Nick Saban retired. He transferred to Ohio State. So he is. I don't think he. Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, he transferred from Alabama last year. Last year around the time from Nick Saban retired, he transferred, and he was the number 1 quarterback that year. So yeah, and they say he's like that. So I think he has a good opportunity. He has a good opportunity to get where he needs to go. Yeah. So I don't see no issues with that. I think for him, and then Ohio State, if they're doing the right things, they're paying their players, and they're giving that kid whatever he wants.
Oh hell yeah, and they people talk about like receiver figure, like Bam always good, LSU's had their run. And people, bro, Ohio State be putting them out, though. That boy, Heartline, bro. He should probably be the highest paid receiver coach probably in the nation, bro. Because they
put him out. They got a good Ibuka is a good receiver. He's gonna be good going. He's gonna be good going to the pros. Tate, I like Tate. Tate's good. They had 3 really good receivers. They're very hard. They're very difficult to stop. It's gonna be you're either gonna have to outscore them or outplay them. Or I'll keep my hands on one or the other. Let me ask you a quick question. What do you think Notre Dame could have done differently to win that game?
Not much, but I mean, they gave a gallant fight. They just couldn't sustain the long drives and keep them off the field. And they just couldn't do nothing with the running backs. I think the running back should have won MVP over Will Howard. But they just let them get loose too much, and they just wore down though. At the end of the day, they just had too many injuries in the trenches. You can't play man to man against Ohio State. They just too potent, and they just couldn't sustain it. That's their biggest thing. I don't know if they could have did nothing different, just couldn't sustain it.
Yeah, I think getting started a little earlier. I mean, they did come out 7-0, but they went like a long law, and didn't really put up any points. Kind of didn't defend well. Wasn't really being physical. The turnovers hurt, and to be honest, man, like I think they had a really good shot to really win the game until that kicker missed the kick. Yeah, I think if because they were beat down. They would have been down. They were down 31-23, knowing that they would have to get the ball back and score. And then Ohio State threw a deep pass to Smith and that ended the game. But if they were, he would have hit that kick and they'd been down 5. And I think you could have played that third down a lot differently. You didn't necessarily have to play so aggressive because I think it was like 3rd and 11. So you would have probably played it differently. You would have been like, I don't have to play where I have to blitz this quarterback. Because I can play the pylon, I play the sticks, I can play the first down stick because I don't have to because there's no way they're gonna try to go for it. So you could have said, you know what, we'll just keep everything in front of us, stop this play in the game. Because at that point, you're only down 5 and a touchdown to win the game. Mm-hmm. So it's like, all right, and there's no way I think that Ohio State's gonna go for it. It was impossible. Like they go for it there and they don't get it. You basically give them the ball on the other side of the field, down by only 5. Down by 8, they can be more aggressive because they're like, we're up 8. But man, I think if that kid would have hit the kick, it would have changed the game. It was like a 20-yard kick. It didn't even make sense that he missed it. So I don't know.
That'd be the ones your verse, brother. The ones that's easy is always the difficult ones.
Yeah, man, it was
in the pros.
Yeah, it's always pretty tough. Let's get into game that happened on Friday. Today's Sunday, so today's happened on Friday. It got postponed. It was supposed to happen Thursday night. Got pushed to Friday because of the bad weather, the snow weather that happened in the South. And we're treated to a really good game against really 2 good teams. So give me your thoughts, man. South Carolina's women's basketball team versus LSU women's basketball team. Give me your thoughts on the game and the outcome.
Man, listen, bro. Dawn, bro, she gets it out players, though. Defensively, when they ratchet it up defensively, bro, nobody's stopping them girls, bro. Like, and I think they're a better team this year than they was in the last 2 years, probably because they got better shooters this year. I think they can now switch everything if they want to defensively. Because whereas Cardoza, the other girl, Watts, is a little slow-footed. Now they can switch things on the pick and roll. And when they get going all defensively, bro, they just gave LSU fits. Like, they turned over. I think LSU might have, almost 20 turnovers. And even though it was in the double digits, definitely. Shout out to LSU. They made it tough. They kind of hung in there, but they missed a lot of chippies at the rim. I think they normally make those. And Flo J, she just had an awful game. I mean, she had some shots, but at the end of the day, man, defense gonna win, and that's what Dawn's calling called. Like, that girl Tessa Johnson coming off the bench, she cold, full wild. She does what she do, and they bigs are good enough. And they're gonna be a tough team. They'll meet again probably in the SEC championship game more than likely. Tennessee is gonna be good. Florida is looking good this year, but great game, and it felt like March Madness. It has that hype and environment. But yeah, it's electric, bro. But Dawn, she got a whip, dog. UCLA gonna be tough too this year. They lost to American the year, but thing with LSU for me, they gotta get better jump shooters. They gotta find something from a shooting standpoint to be able to stretch the floor. They got cats like your girl Williams, number 12. She's more of a mid-range type player. She remind me of like Simone Augustus. Flo J can hit the 3, but it's not a strong point. Then Morrow is just a double-double. She's powerful down low. I think she leads the nation in doubles this season. But I think LSU lack of outside shooting is definitely gonna hurt them long term, and it definitely hurt them the other night, especially in the turnovers.
Yeah, listen, you gotta always give credit to where credit's due. the three things I watch about Dawn State that I really enjoy, but it's just really just remarkable how she managed this team, managed the egos, managed that talent, and then
Yep.
gets the most out of their talent when it's time, right? So, and what I mean by that is Pow Pow, for one, was not having a very good game. Seemed like she was making some turnovers, just wasn't really putting an imprint from a shooting standpoint and scoring the basketball. So she's, she was like, hey, listen, I need more defense. I need a little bit more size, I need more athleticism. So she went with more of a defensive athletic lineup, right? And she focused on with Raven and Tessa. And it worked, right? It worked. And she leaned heavy on the freshman. I
Yep.
think her name Edwards, Joyce
Yeah.
Edwards. That's a true freshman, right? And she leaned on her more in this game and allowed her to kind of, play her way through some of the mistakes she was making, but was still, focusing on trying to show her like you're going to be one of the best players in the game. Eventually, it's just a matter of time. Florida was not on this game. I mean, I said that in the text. She was not on this game, and it showed. Like, so she sat her. Chris Kitt was struggling. Well, I think Kitt was struggling with the height and the athleticism. She sat her. So, you know, something that I did not like, and I didn't put it in here, but I'm going to bring it up now, is I didn't like your girl Mercury's comments about, if I had you playing 10 All-Americans. Like, come on, man.
Stop
Like,
it. Yeah,
what
stop
are we
it.
doing? Why does she do these things? Like, like, why not just give credit where credit's due? Like, at the end of the day, you played against not a good team, you played against a great coach who's beating you several different ways. She's beating you with, a veteran lineup with a lot of talent. All-America is true. She's also beat you with a very young lineup. Last year, that team last year was super young. She's 5-0 against you. She's beating LSU like 17 times in a row. Right?
That would it feel like.
You know what I mean? She had 11, like I said, the team had 11 steals, I think. No, they had 11 blocks, 13 steals. It's just, she always has a creative enough game plan to beat you guys. And basically what I've noticed about Merkley is she's trying to use the same type of style that Don used. She's just not successful against Don doing it.
Yeah.
Right. And I said before, if they weren't hitting the three, I didn't think they're gonna win. They gotta hit threes to beat South Carolina.
And that's not their game. Like, and I don't like the comment Malky making because it's not like she had Louisiana Tech. So she's at LSU, a premier women's program since she's got there. Like, she's always recruited top talent, even when she was at Baylor. Like, so for her to make that type of comment, stop it. Like, come on, man.
Yeah,
You're getting just as much top tier talent as South Carolina's getting.
1,000%. You're getting the same. Like, you got 7 All-Americans. Okay, so you don't have 10. You got 7. And if you ain't utilizing them correctly, that's on you. That's not like, you got all that All-American talent on there. Williams was the number 2 player in the nation when she came out.
Facts.
Right? Like, so you trying to act like you don't have that type of talent. I just didn't like it, man. It's okay just to say, you know what, that team's really good. And we just got to get better to beat them. Like, we're not at that point yet to beat them. And I thought that would have been cool. She would have said that, like, we're just not at that point to beat that type of team. They're way too more talented than we are. So we just need to keep working. But to sit here and be like, she got All-Americans. Like, come on, man. Like, how can I beat that? Like, and I'm paraphrasing, but I just feel like it just makes less on what she is, her ability as a coach. Like, when she had all the talent at Baylor, you know what I mean, with BG and them, she wasn't complaining then.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's the thing too. Like, they just got beat on the boards in the second half. They were getting runouts, even all makes. Like, that's just hustle. Like, you can't
that's hustle.
in your players to dig down a little bit further and make plays defensively. I think that's what and it took too many jump shots too. Like, wasn't a flow in the offense, just taking forced jumpers. Like that's on you at that point. Like, just give credit where credit due. Say, look, she out coached us again. I got to do a better job of getting my girls ready to play and ratchet it up defensively.
Especially with a team that you know has had your number.
Yep.
Just that simple, bro. Like that team's had your number, and you got to do a better job at that.
Look, you making excuses and making her look bad.
1,000. I think it makes your players look bad too.
Yeah.
Right. So
you coming up with all these excuses, 10 All-Americans. Come on, bro. Like, stop it. You act like LSU not getting the same equality of talent.
It's just really a bottom situation. She just does the most irritable things, and she never just gives Don credit. Like that's the problem I have. She never just gives Don, like, you know what, Don Davis, one of the best coaches. Every time I go against it, it's tough. My team's got to be super prepared. She's all over the details. Like, you can just see, but she never does that. She's like, oh, she has 10 million. She has 10 All-Americans. Like, come on, man. It's always a problem. All right, man. Like, so let's get to the moment.
And like you said, Don pulled the right card. Like, sitting full wildly. Sasha Johnson on the Papa was on the bench in the stretch and had the freshman playing. Like, she pulled the right cards. And, you know, shout out to South Carolina women, man.
Yeah. 69 in a row at their home. It's tough to play in that place. You know what I mean? It's going to be tough to play. It's going to be loud. So it's going to be loud. It's going to be aggressive. You got to be ready to play. Mm-hmm. All right, man. Let's get to the part, man, that we all love to go to, our NFL discussions, man. Like, there's so much going on before we get to the actual games.
It is
that are happening this evening with the Eagles and the Commanders and the Chiefs and the Bills, AFC Championship, NFC Championship. Let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys hire real quick, bro. Stoudemire. Is it Schottenheimer? What was your thoughts when you heard about Brian Schottenheimer being the brand new Dallas Cowboys coach?
It's a safe hire. It's one of those hires where Jerry Jones is going to be able to control everything like he's normally controlled. Jimmy Johnson, Super Bowls, fired. Bill Parcells had a decent run, fired. All strong-minded coaches he just clashed with. And I'm not surprised by the hire. It's just like as a safe hire, he could have went and kept McCarthy for all this. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to hire Schottenheimer, no disrespect to Schottenheimer, he probably do a great job. Dallas still have enough pieces to, you know, compete in the NFC East, but it's a safe hire. Jerry's like, he can control everything. He's still gonna have all of a player personnel. He flirted with Deion, you know, Sanders, but I think Deion would have been too big of a name and, you know, personality for Jerry. He kicked the ties with that, but I never thought that would, you know, come to nothing, because, you know, Deion gonna want to come in and control what he wants to control and run his program, and Jerry's not gonna have that. So at the end of the day, it's a safe hire. I'm sure a lot of other candidates like Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, all these people probably wanted some type of control over the roster, probably. And Jerry's not gonna have that. So safe hire. You know, Dallas is gonna be what they're gonna be, 10-9 win seasons every year, but they still gonna flop when it comes to most. Like the playoffs, like always, though. It's just how every guy is set up, man.
Man, well, here's my thoughts. When I first heard, I was like, who is Brian? Like, is this dad?
Daddy came up.
And I had to think about who it was for a second. And then I realized I didn't even know he was on there. He was already currently a coach there. I had no idea that he was already a coach there. So it's kind of like, oh, I didn't know he was a coach there. It's so many things to the storyline that just doesn't look. Listen, I like Jerry. I think Jerry is good for the NFL. He's been a very good. I mean, he's had his, you know, struggles and issues here and there, but for the most part, he's a decent owner. But I don't know if you can win with Jerry Jones being in charge, because you just can't. And you can't family understand, like, whether he's doing this because he wants them to win, he's getting the best the best coach, or really honestly, is he just doing this because for his ego, it makes more sense, allows him to keep operating as is. Yeah. And I thought he wanted to win. So I think Jerry gonna want to die, like, with this situation, what it is. I think he he's prepared more to no longer worry about the winning aspect and more worry about the fact that, you know, if he could just continue this team the way it is, he's happy. Because I think this whole notion that everybody's like, you know, Dallas wants to win, because Jerry wants to win. Jerry don't want to win. Jerry, Jerry want to run this team how he wants to, how he feels like he needs to. And I'm okay with that. I think it's time for everybody to just realize that. Stop trying to get in Jerry's business. Leave Jerry alone and let Jerry run this team the way he wants to, because Jerry don't care.
Nah, it's
Jerry wants
money.
to run that team how he wants to. And it's
Look,
just that simple, man. Jerry don't want you to come bother him. Jerry don't want to hear your advice. Jerry don't want to understand anything you got going on. Jerry wants to be like, hey, man, let me run my team the way I want to. And that's it. That's all he wants to do. And I
and I
think
get it, man. Like it's his company. I mean, his team. We spent millions on it, but
yeah.
at some point, he has to look at you a successful team, and you could have had King Henry last year. The only shit I think, but the Ravens only paid him like 2-3 years, like $13-14 million. But I think Jerry wants to be popular. He wants to make all the money, and I truly don't think it's about winning with him. He say it, but his actions do not show that it's about winning. Honestly,
I know it isn't about what Jerry wants to. Jerry wants to run the team how he wants to. If he wins in the process, great. Right? But you're not gonna go tell Jerry Jones what to do. Jerry Jones wants to run that team how he wants. He don't care what you think. And I'm at this point where we're at a point where it's no longer needed to keep having a discussion about who he hires, who he doesn't hire. Jerry's gonna run how he wants to run it, and I feel like that makes sense for Jerry, in all aspects of it, because he's looking at it like, this is my team. I'm gonna do what I want to do, and I'm at a point where I'm okay with that now. You know what I mean? I'm not a Cowboys fan. It don't hurt my heart to see them lose and win. And I feel like that's where I'm at with this. And I feel like what we're doing as whether for us now, because we have a podcast as media, you know, we're just, you know, taking shots at a guy that don't care.
yeah, he really don't.
He doesn't care. He's gonna pay the players how he wants to pay the players. He's gonna run the team how he wants. Y'all might would just let Jerry do what he wants and wait till he dies. And then when Steven take over, maybe Steve will come with a little bit of a better plan. He'll stand out the way. Maybe Steven Jones doesn't want to be a GM. I think because he's like, you know, the owner in waiting. But anybody else, man, I'm just tired of everybody having this conversation with Jerry. Because Jerry does not want to listen to y'all. Me, you, nobody. Jerry wants to listen to himself, and I'm fine with that. And by the way, Jerry's little monologue that he did on Landman was actually really good. I watched that show. He had like a little acting. I don't know if it's a debut, but he definitely had an acting soliloquy on there, and it was good. But Jerry don't care. So why we should care?
Yeah, at the end of the day, bro, you know, he can do what he want. But at the end of the day, that's why they haven't won nothing since '95.
He's a billionaire, and that's what billionaires do. And I'm okay with it at this point to let Jerry be the man that he needs to be. Because Jerry don't care. Jerry like, man, I don't care. I don't have a problem with it. And we, you know, it is what it is. All right, let's move to the next topic here. This is good. We got Keon has jumped on the podcast.
Man, look tired, dog.
Yeah, I heard you was going a little hard last night.
The long weekend.
So it's all weekend, yeah, because y'all went to the thing the other day. Huh? We'll talk about it offline. But let's get into what's going on with the Saints coaching search. You know, I know you guys are very interested in what's been going on, and it's interesting because I know you guys really wanted Aaron Glenn, and it didn't work out the way it has worked out. It's been coaches that you've had in camp. I think the current interim coach, right? He's leaving. There's a lot of coaches still out there, but they're getting taken. Ben Johnson chose Chicago over even having an interview, I think, with New Orleans Saints. So the OC for the Bucks is going to Jacksonville. So what's the plan for the Saints, man? Like, what do you think right now you guys should be looking for? Because a lot of these top tier coaches, like I said, Aaron Glenn and others, are now have jobs. And you guys are still kind of sitting here it's been 2 months since you fired Dennis Allen? with no coaching hire. So what's going on? What's your thoughts, man? Ray, go ahead.
Honestly, bro, you hear a lot of rumors. You see, it's about Loomis at the end of the day. I don't know if people want to work with Loomis. It'd be nice in the perfect world, bro. He'd have been fired. Like 4 years of mediocrity, cap hell, since Sean Payton left. But when you're in the wheel and you're the heir to the estate, like Loomis is not going anywhere. So I think at the end of the day, we're the last team that don't have a coach. They interviewed the dude from the Dolphins, Weaver, twice. So I think it's going to either be McCarthy or the guy Weaver from Miami, dog. It's unfortunate. And who's to say Weaver might be good? Who knows? McCarthy is a good coach. It's not like he's horrible. He's just not going to, Super Bowl. He's going to give you when you get his quarterback right, he'll get you 10 wins. But he's just not going to win a big game. And it's sad that we got to go to the pick of the litter right now. Like, we had our chances to get one of the top coaches if we truly wanted them. We didn't. But at the end of the day, we're in the situation we're in, man. It's what it is. So I think we'll end up with either McCarthy or Weaver.
Yeah, bro. I don't even know what the organization is doing right now. Too much loyalty is going on. When you get older, I think she older. She more, trying to stick with Loomis. Like you say, he's in the well and all that. But I can see McCarthy. Uh, at this point, like you said, what other options they have? Do you just go get somebody new who really ain't got that most coaching experience? I doubt it. So I just would like to have like new blood, man. Like somebody new, somebody fresh, somebody young, somebody with new ideals. Uh, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm interested because you had the opportunity. I think you guys requested for an interview with Joe Brady, the OC for the Bills, and he turned it down.
Mm-hmm.
A guy who was already in your organization. So something's going on in that organization that's making people say they don't want to be there. They would prefer to not deal with that organization versus dealing with them. I find that very odd. Like that you would be like, you know what, I would prefer not to deal with that organization than deal with them. Consider the fact that, there's guys who've actually been, was young pups in that organization that kind of grew up in that organization. You would think they would be the ones that really want to be there. But yeah, even Joe Brady said no. I thought that was interesting, man. You have to find that very, compelling that a guy who came through and that's one of his first starts wouldn't be interested in being the one to be a head coach of that organization. There's something going on. I don't know if it's a quarterback thing or just a players thing or just the GM or I don't know. I really can't explain that part, man. But yeah, I think you guys are, in a tough situation so far, and you got to figure out what you're going to do next.
Yeah, it's tough. Even like I know until you put enough money on the table, he can change his mind. Just like Liam with Buffalo, the Bucks, like he ain't going to Jacksonville and ended up going to Jacksonville. So I mean, you never know though. Like I
Well, I think that
know
was the GM situation. They fired the GM and that's when he went to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Right. So, and like one thing that maybe they don't let you hire your assistant coaches. I'm not totally sure. Which is big because a lot of the coaches want their assistant coach. You look at Detroit, he literally brought 3 members off his staff, off the Detroit staff, to Chicago, right? JT Barrett, he brought in other players. So the same thing with Aaron Glenn. They're gonna be taking, guys and bring them over to the Jets. So that could be an issue. But yeah, I'm looking to see what y'all gonna do in the next few days because once the season ends, you got to start now thinking about moving forward with the off season, looking at the Senior Bowls, doing evaluating talent, getting prepared for the NFL draft, going through free agency. All these things got to happen in that time frame. So it's gonna be interesting to see what you guys do moving forward. But that's not our problem. We got our own damn problems with the Falcons anyway. So that's y'all part. All right, let's get into the Eagles and Commanders. Your team, the Commanders. You know what I mean? You love them. You love them over there. You know how you love the Commanders and your son, Jaden Daniels. Start it off, man. Give me your thoughts on this game, and we'll get into the predictions a little bit later. But give me your thoughts on the game, what you see going to happen today, and like I said, we'll talk about whether the Commanders be going to the Super Bowl or not. But give me your thoughts on the game, man.
So my thought on this game, bro, is two things. Is Hurts healthy enough to run from side to side? Uh, that would be an issue if he can't, because that'll take away, the kind of the read option,
Mm-hmm.
where they can load the box up and make him a passer. Because you saw last week he was really like hurt. He really come run side to side. Uh, my thing, the thing for the Commanders, and can Philly get pressure on Jaden? Well, they can try to make him uncomfortable because in the playoff so far, no team has been able to make him uncomfortable. Uh, and for Washington, they got to load the box and stop the run. Now, you're not going to stop him, but make him, 20 carries for 100, about 20 yards. Not one of those games where he's going off with like 200. Uh, and if they do those, and whoever can win the turnover battle, that's going to be the thing in this game. These teams clearly know each other. They done played each other twice. Um, but my big thing, if you're an Eagle fan, how he gonna look coming out today? Is he, what I'm saying? Is he able to like, put his feet in the and pivot and go another way? That's gonna be some of the keys I'm gonna look for in this game. And this should be a good game, man. The teams both up the highway, the beltway. Like I said, they hate each other. They've been, you know, see twice in a division. So both teams know what each team want to do and who gonna be able to take that away from the other team. And Philly gonna have to be for Washington. You're gonna have to keep Philly in the 3rd and 8, not the 3rd and 2, not the 3rd and 4, because you already know what happened when they get that shot. And for Washington, hey, they go for a lot of time on 4th down. There, at first you'll be like, what they doing? But and when they 3rd and 2, they are going for it. So it's gonna be who gonna outcoach you. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, and for me, if Saquon gonna get 100, it gotta be like on 35 carries. Like you gotta make it and limit those 50, 60, 70 yard runs that he been getting all season. Limit that and make Jalen beat you from the passing. Like because bro, they are passing under 200 yards all season. It's ridiculous. You got Smitty, AJ Brown, Dallas Goddard. There should be no reason they broke their passing game. It's so broken. So I'm making Jalen beat me today. And for Washington, get Brian Robinson Jr. going, limit your turnovers. And then sometimes I know you always go for the 4th down, but I think today points are going to be at a premium. So sometimes you got to take those 3 points and fight to live another possession. But for me, it's a turnover battle, and don't let Saquon go crazy for those 50, 60 yard runs. And for the Commanders, get Brian Robinson going. I think that will open up the passing game too.
Yeah, I agree. I think you guys said it. I think controlling the run is going to be huge for Washington. Can they stop the run? Can they stop the explosive runs? Because that's going to drive Philly's offense. Here's the thing: if Philly can keep the ball out of Jaden Daniels' hands, it don't really matter. Because if they can't stop the run, if Philly's able to run the ball consistently throughout the game, then truthfully, they don't have to worry about Jaden Daniels. They can just run the clock out.
Yeah.
And score when need to. Philly defense, here's the thing. I think it's going to be a great matchup is Philly's D-line versus the Commanders' O-line. I think the center for the Commanders just tore his ACL the last game. That's going to be a huge situation. So getting the ball out quickly by Jaden Daniels is going to be has to be part of this game plan. Philly does have probably the best D tackle in football with Jaden Carter. He's going to be a wreck. He's going to cause a lot of problems. So you're going to have to get that ball out quickly so that he doesn't get there and wreck shop and make plays and get his hands on Jaden Daniels. So it's going to be a huge matchup problem with the lines. Philly O-line, you know what they are. They're very good and very talented. They're probably the top tier line, especially in the NFC, but probably overall and all in football. So if they can command that line and push, get a lot of push and push those guys out the way, I just don't see what the Commanders can do from there. But it's going to be a very interesting game. The health of Jalen is going to be huge. If he's not healthy, that's going to be a major play. We saw what happened last time when they were playing against the Commanders and he got knocked out the game, right? He had a concussion. He got concussion. That really kind of propel that game to what we see as far as with those teams how they matched up last time. Um, and I think at that point, Philly was driving again, looked like they about to score again, and that was just one of the situations that happened. So, we all got to figure it out. I mean, all got to figure it out. But I think this is gonna be a really good game. I just know it's gonna be one of the trenches. It's no snow, so you ain't got to. It's not gonna be a weather element, right? And here's the thing: can the Commanders stretch the field? Will they be able to stretch the field with Scary Terry? Will he get those shots that he needs? If I'm not mistaken, the corner that got hurt last game against the Rams, I'm trying to think was 27's name. I remember it right quick, but 27, he's back, right? So they're going to be fully healthy on the back end. You know what I mean? Which has been really been one of their strengths this past season. So their secondary. Should be a very good game. The composure of Jay Dane is going to be needed. Like I say, he's going to get the ball out, quick reads, quick passes, dump offs, take what the defense gives you, keep the defense on the field, and then execute in the red zone. But it's going to be interesting how we see this. This is really it should be a very NF East type of game, right? Old school. It's gonna be old school right here. I hope they get the fight. I hope it gets ugly, because I think it's gonna be a battle. All right, next up, Chiefs versus Bills. Pete, give me your thoughts on that game too.
Thoughts on this game, man. You're gonna have to control Kelsey for Buffalo. In the playoff, that's who that's his security blanket. Uh, they're gonna have to Buffalo gonna have to get their running game going where everything just ain't on Josh Allen. I think Buffalo defense, they got people coming back today, and you got to keep Mahomes in the pocket. You can't let him make extend the plays when he get out the pocket and throw the ball downfield. Taking those shots. You gotta when you blitz him, it's all about the containment because he hurts you too when lose containment. He get those little sneaky run first downs or he buy enough time that somebody get freed up in the second down the field. Um, and so Josh Allen got to take care of the ball. He didn't have a great game throwing the ball against Baltimore last weekend, but he didn't hurt himself either. He didn't turn the ball over. So, he played actually smart. And when you play against KC, you got to play smart because KC don't beat themselves. They just don't have those crucial turnovers, mistakes. They play mistake-free ball. Mistake football. So they just not going to beat themselves. And you can't get them the ball. So with KC, man, they gonna do what they do. You're gonna have to go out there and beat them. Patty gonna take care of the ball. And they gonna try to, be consistent running. They're gonna dial up a couple trick plays. That's what they already gonna have one that, what I'm saying, they gonna dial up a trick play to try to catch you slipping. That's what they do. Because Andy Reid always bringing something new to the table every different game. So but I feel like it's gonna be a good game, and I feel like, bro, like I said, who can win the turnover battle gonna win this football game.
Yeah, for me, Buffalo got to get some explosive plays out of the passing game. I think they passed less than 150 yards last season against Baltimore. Get James Cook going early. And, for me, for Buffalo as well, will their defense show up? Like, you can't let Patty get comfortable. You got to hit him. Von Miller, I need you. Find the old Von Miller. Russo, they got to find a good pass rep and keep him in the pocket and not let Patty get out and make those explosive plays, the Birdie over the top or Hollywood Brown. That's not so much for the running game with KC because they don't really run the ball like that. Pacheco, getting feet under him. They use them little short screens, little slip routes to try to get their passing game going. But for Buffalo, man, they got to definitely get some explosive plays in the passing game, get James Cook going. And like I said, you can't, give the game to KC because of turnovers. For me, the key is definitely for Buffalo. Late defense got to show up today.
Yeah, I think you guys said it all. I mean, the keys are it's going to be the Bills defense versus the Chief offense and Patty Mahomes. And can you bring pressure? Can you get to Patty? He's seen all the defenses. There's nothing new that he's seen. So can your pass rush get there to cause problems? If not, I just don't see this game being much. I think Josh is going to do what he do, but you got to realize the Chiefs defense is top notch. They're one of the best defenses in the
Yeah.
NFL for a reason, and I think we're not giving them credit where credit's due. They did play really well in the second half against the Texans, and it caused a lot of problems. Sacked CJ 8 times. So they can bring a lot of pressure with their front four, play on the back end, cause some confusion. I do think Josh will get caught in this game, maybe once or twice, and trying to make plays. But I also think if they can get to Mahomes, then I think also that could be the same issue. The only thing about Mahomes, I just hope that does not happen in this game. That's happened in the past is the issues where he kind of flops or he dies, and they call that just kind of. I don't want that to be a deciding factor of this game. This should be one of those games where you leave it on the field and and let the players decide and stop letting Mahomes antics and some of the things he does decide on what they're going to do. But yeah, I think this is one of those. This is going to be a good one. Two premier quarterbacks, and it's just about who's going to have the ball last in this one. And two decent defenses, especially, but KC's a good defense. That's what they're going for. Will this be one of those Kelsey games? I'm interested in seeing that as well because Kelsey's going to have an imprint. I don't think the receivers have been really like. I watched the Texans game. I didn't really see anything about the receivers from whether it's Hollywood or Wright or Worthy, excuse me, or what's the kid from that's from Clemson,
Juju?
Hopkins.
Oh,
I didn't see
Hopkins.
Hopkins. Yeah, like I just didn't see it. So it's starting to get to that point. So uh, you know, we'll see. But I think it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good game. It should be a good NFL Sunday in general. Because I like these matchups. It's gonna be a real good man. I like this. I wish I would saw Baltimore Lamar. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for him. But I do like the matchups between the Eagles, Commanders, and Chiefs and Bills. All right, so without further ado, Ray, hit the button.
Now it's time for the Arguing Brothers NFL Pick'ems.
Go.
All right, man. So you know what it is. This is how we do it. NFL Pick'ems. Next to the last one for the season. You know how we go, Ray. You start off, Keith, then I end it. Let's go Eagles versus Commanders. Ray, who you got?
Eagles. There's too much Saquon. I think Commanders had a great year, but yeah, I think it's just too much Eagles at home.
Keith?
Hell to the Commanders. I'm going with Commanders, baby.
I think
I
they got a
just
new song, Keith. I think
yeah.
it's what's the new
They
song?
still say hell to Commanders.
I do they
Yeah.
I know they got a
Yeah.
new song. It's like
DC?
who are we? The Commanders.
I just feel like, bro, they just one of them teams that's got hot, bro. And they've been playing playoff football since the Atlanta game, and it reminded me of the Cincinnati team that year when they got hot and they went to the Super Bowl. So I'm going with the Commanders.
Commanders, huh?
Mhm.
I do think this is going to be one of those games where Philly defense flexes their muscle. I like Philly. I like the Eagles in this game. I just think this is going to be it's one more of a defensive battle people are going to give it credit for. And I think when you get to that type of game, the running game and defense, it's going to be who's got the best running game, who has the best defense, and both of them are Philly. So I got Philly winning that. I just don't think the Eagles, not the Eagles, excuse me. I think the Commanders have played well, but people have slept on the fact they've ran the ball well in the playoffs. And I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball against the Eagles. Not like they ran against Detroit last week. They ran the ball really well against Detroit last week. So I don't think it's going to happen this week. I think they're going to lose this one. All right, next up, Chiefs versus Bills. Ray, who you got?
Man, it's hard keeping going against Patty though. But man, I'm going with the Bills, bro. I think it's their year, they get over the hump.
Yeah. It's hard to go against KC too, But for selfish reason, I'm gonna go with the Bills, man. You know, they just been knocking on the door all these times, bro. It's time for Josh Allen to break through. Uh, so I'm gonna go Bills too.
I guess I'm the only person gonna say it. I hate to say this. I don't want it to happen. Casey's gonna win this game. I don't want it to happen. I really don't. I really feel like this. I hate to see Casey win again. And again, I don't want it to happen, man. But I think they're gonna win this game. I just don't see what can. I'm sitting there looking at the lineups, and KC just do it. They're really like they're like Bill Belichick now. They do a great job of just stopping what you do well, and they're not gonna let Josh run the ball at the middle. They're not gonna let Josh, you know, take shots with number 10. If Cooper don't have a great game, I don't see them winning. I think Cooper has to be a part of the game plan, and he hasn't been in the games I've seen. So
none since the regular season, really.
Since the regular season, and if he can't be in part of his game plan, Coleman's too young. So it's got to be Cooper. And if Cooper doesn't make a print in this game, they're gonna lose because I think Cooper's gonna get a lot of one-on-one coverage, and I think they can play. I think he's either injured or he just doesn't have it like he used to, and I think they can play him with one-on-one, and I just find it problematic. You need somebody who can take coverage. I just don't see they have it. Yeah. Only thing if the only key if Buffalo can win this game if James Cook has a humongous game. If the running backs got like 150 yards in total rushing, then they got a shot to win. If they don't, if they can't run the ball well, I don't see them win this game. It's gonna be too tough, man.
Good one.
All right, man. So listen, we're at our last top of the day. Just finish our NFL's pick 'em. Any other topics you want to discuss before we get out of here?
What do you think about Lamar's performance last week?
First half was sus as far as how we talked about it on thing. He did not play well in the first half, but the second half he got it together. You gotta give him credit for not just in the past. There's been times where he'll just if the first half's bad, he falls apart. This is time where you've seen him come back, compose himself, let him in drives. I just don't think his OC does him any favors when they stop running the football. Like when he just decides, I'm not getting the ball to Derrick Henry, I don't understand it. Like I think that's where I get it. I just don't get it. Like you brought the guy in there, and that's the pivotal moments, and your game is rolling. Buffalo could not stop the run at that point. I think at that point in the third quarter, going through the fourth quarter, they were averaging like 8-9 yards a carry. Like, why are you like? I get the Mark Andrews fumble was major, but like even when it was like I think it was like 21, it was like I think it was 14-10 or something like that, or it was like 14-7, and he ran the ball once with I think he ran the ball once with Henry the first carry of that particular drive. They were in the red zone. He ran the ball. He didn't run the ball again. And he did it again when one time I think Henry got 12 yards. He took him out. He put in Justice Hill. There's dude's last name.
Yeah.
And he did like some type of flip play in the boundaries. And I was like, why would you do that? Like he just ran for 12 yards. Why you take him out and then run some type of flip play? And they had to kick a field goal to cut it 21-13. He just does not see. It's like he's a great OC. I can't take nothing from him. He's getting the most out of Lamar, like for sure. So I can't lie. But it's something about his style when they get into the trenches that he just doesn't call it the same. And it kills him every single time. And that's what I saw in that game. And so I think Lamar did what he could. I think the OC's got to figure out, like, dude, I got this horse. Do I ride it or not? And if he don't ride that horse, man, they're gonna come run into the same issues all the time.
Yeah, that first half was a disaster. I think he missed Zay Flowers a lot because they've been explosive plays. Bateman has been playing well since he's been healthy. Mark has been Mark. But I think they missed Zay Flowers in the first half. They just wasn't running him at all. Like, I don't know why.
Yeah, yeah, it was definitely a mid performance in the first half. You know, and the stat is that, you know, I ain't realized too how many turnovers Lamar have just in his playoff history. Just, you know, uh, and that's what you can't do. You can't turn the ball over. You know, you put your team behind the eight ball when you're doing that. You know, those was crucial. So, but overall, man, you know, it's like, damn, bro, you got to take advantage of these moments they've been in the last couple of years, bro, because this window don't stay open forever, bro. You know, and this year you had pretty much everything that you needed to win a Super Bowl, and like the Derrick Henry thing, that you would think they would have learned because all throughout the year when they would stop running him, they end up losing games they should have won. So, you know, definitely wanted to see Lamar in there, man. I wanted to see, you know, a Commanders be more Super Bowl, but man, they gonna have to figure it out, bro, because I don't know how long that window gonna stay open, bro. Especially next year, you in a division already, a conference already, where you got hell of a quarterbacks over there, and you got to take opportunities. You got to take advantage of these opportunities, bro, because when you lose in games like this, you should win. And it's hard to get back to the Super. And he ain't never been to a Super Bowl, so it's just hard to get to a Super Bowl.
Oh,
Yeah, 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 man. You're right. It's definitely difficult. I mean, listen, the thing that you want to have a quarterback that allows your team to be successful, so you have the opportunity to get there. And that's the key. The key is you want to always be in a position to get there, like right. Like even with Cincinnati having the season that they had, they still know next season they still got Joe there. They still got, you know, they may not have T. Higgins, but they got talent, so they're gonna always be in the running. The only thing, you know, like you just stated, man, like the one thing you just want to make sure from a player standpoint is that you get the most out of your players. And, you know, like I said, I think the OC is good for him. I just don't like the fact that he just does not run the ball. He did the same thing last year. He just does not run the ball when it's time. It is annoying to have the highest factor of just being like, bro, just run the ball, bro. Just run the
yeah.
ball. Just run the ball, like run the ball, force the team to have to start committing. Then, you know, Zay Flower wouldn't be that big of an issue if you ran the ball. If you ran the ball the way you should have, you can make up for Zay Flowers because you still got explosive players. I mean, Likely's like a receiver. Like, you know what I mean? He's like a receiver. He's basically a receiver out there. And then you got Likely, you still got Andrews. He just need to learn how to hold the ball. But I mean, the catches they were catching, them receivers wide open. Like, I mean, you go and look at it, it was wide open. Like he hit when he hit Likely for the touchdown, wide open. When he hit Mark Andrews for that, when Andrews fumbled, he was wide open. He hit him on the sideline, he was wide open. So the run game creates everything. Like, just run the ball, man. I didn't get it. This dude has almost 2,000 yards rushing, and you you take the ball out of his hands and put Justin Hill in the game. It doesn't make sense to me. So, yeah, man. But that's why you're at home. What
Yeah.
you want to do?
Mm-hmm.
Ain't our problem. That's their problem. That's why you're at home. so it is what it is. Any other game you want to discuss when we get out of here?
That's it.
I just asked one thing though, man. What about the calls you saw from Mahomes with the Texans? Do y'all feel like, you know, hopefully we don't get to see that today?
Man, it's been all year, bro. It's been all year, and I don't think it's gonna change, bro. It's just been all year, bro, and it's kind of ridiculous, bro. Like, you know, I understand, you know, every superstar, you know, he done earn stuff, but man, you affecting the game like that, and Texas still had the opportunity, but it's been all year. KC been getting calls, bro, and I don't, and, you know, it's gonna be something they're gonna get in this game too. It's just what it is.
Yeah, Patty the new Brady, bro. You get all the calls, dog.
Yeah, some of them flops he be doing though, and then he talking about, man, maybe I should stop it. Yeah, nigga, you should stop it. Like, what do you mean? Like, why are you flopping like this? You're a grown man. Like, why do you do all that? Like, we went out of bounds and he fluffed out like that. Like, come on, man. Like, it made people look at him different now. It's like, bro, we getting tired of this. We tired of seeing you do all this flopping and laying on the ground and acting like your life is over. Like, man, come on, man. We ain't got time for this. We ain't like people want to see competitive teams. They want to see competition. They want to see you compete. They don't want to see the flopping. Like, you becoming like NBA. Like, we ain't trying to see NBA and NFL. Like, that's not what we want. We want to see two teams compete and then be like, all right, bro, walk out the field and give it your all. Nobody wants to see flopping with it. And then that's actually leading, that's keeping the drives going forward. Yeah, it was enough, man. I think the NFL, the fan base has had enough. And you start to see people complain about it. So
one more other thing before we get out of here. So if he go back to the Super Bowl and win and it's a three-peat, do you start putting him in that GOAT conversation?
Yes.
you know, I was gonna bring that up next week, but I mean I think it's already in the GOAT conversation, don't you think?
Nah, not yet. But I'm saying he's on the trajectory. But if this will be number 4? 3 peat?
Yeah, but he's been to 4 Super Bowls.
Yeah, but you got to
He's been
win
to
them.
3. He's been to 4 Super Bowls and he's won 3.
Yeah.
And if this is his 4th Super Bowl and this is his fifth opportunity to be at one, why would he not be part of a? Why would he not now be?
No, he in the
considered
conversation.
as a GOAT?
I'm talking about as a GOAT. I'm talking about on a trajectory kind of replacing Tom Brady as the GOAT.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think his projection's already there. I mean, if we're looking at his resume from where we're at right now, from this point right here, he's been in what? How many AFC Championship games he's been in?
I think this is like 7 straight or some shit.
7
or 8 straight.
He's been 7 straight. He's been to how many Super Bowls? 4?
He lost to Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. And then he'd have been 4 Super Bowls, yeah.
Yeah, he's been to 4.
Yeah.
So he lost to Tom. He's 3-1. And he goes there and win again and becomes 4-1. That's 4 Super Bowls in our first ever 3-peat. Would that not be? That's not considered GOAT status.
Yeah,
doesn't mean he's replaced,
but
he's getting closer.
He's getting close.
It's very
close. So
because I don't think he would have to win 7 Super Bowls. If he can get to Bobby like 5 Super Bowls, and with the stats he have, like, because he's gonna blow any stats out the water. I don't think he had to get to 7 Super Bowls, but like if he can get to maybe 5 or 6.
No, he needs to get to 7 because Tom Brady was in 10.
Yeah, but Tom Brady got 7, but it's kind of like the Michael Jordan thing. Michael Jordan don't have 9 Super Bowl like Bill Russell, but Michael Jordan had the numbers, the it factor, the 2 3-peats. You know what I'm saying? So that's
that would be different if Patrick Mahomes was undefeated. He's not undefeated in Super Bowl. He's lost.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
So and here's the thing, we're putting him at that level, but we're forgetting that Joe Montana's got, he's 4-0.
Yeah.
So Joe Montana should be where we should be looking at more than Tom Brady, because Tom Brady's at 10 Super Bowls. You can't just push past the fact that Tom Brady's had 10 Super Bowls. He's been in 10 Super Bowls. I can't even stress that enough that he's been in 10 Super Bowls. But we do got to factor in that Joe Montana's 4-0. I think one of them he was end up being Super Bowl MVP. I'm not sure, 1 or 2, but we gotta factor that Joe Montana has been very successful, and I think that's where his range is right now. He's looking to eclipse Montana for sure, because Montana's never 3-peat.
Yeah, and Montana undefeated in the Super Bowl too.
Yeah, yeah, and so and then you think about it. He's in the conversation. We also got to think about some of the AFC Championship games he's lost. I mean, he's lost to Cincinnati. He lost to New England. Who else he lost to? Cincinnati, New England, and I think that's it. But he's been outplayed some of those games. But I still got to factor in the dude is absolutely been one of the great players of all time. So, yeah, I think he's close to it. I think if he gets there now, he eclipses Montana. But next, he needs at least 7, 8. 7 or 8 attempts at a Super Bowl, being in one to eclipse Tom Brady, because that 10 is just that's an outstanding number, right? Even even the ones he's lost, he's played great. Hell, the Philly when he played great.
New York.
You know what I mean? And the only ones I can say that he didn't play great was the Giants. The Giants when he didn't play great in. He did both Giants games, he didn't play great in. When he lost to both of them, he didn't play great in either one of them. Eli outplayed him. And then that's it. So
Show.
all right, man. Anything else, man? Before we
That's
get
it.
out of here?
Welcome, Key.
All right. All right, fellas. All right, so that's our last topic of the day. We about to get out of here. We got final thoughts. Final thoughts before we get out of here, fellas.
Man, great
Man.
show. Let's do it.
Yeah, another great show, bro. I'm just excited for these games, but I hope they live up to the hype, bro. I'm just
Yeah.
praying they live up to the hype. You know what I'm saying? And if the Commanders win, the city is gonna be on fire tonight. You saw they was all in Union Station with it yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that, man. They all trying to get on the train. The train probably get stopped.
Yeah.
Those Philly fans ain't having that. They don't have that thing. They gonna try to blow that train track up. They ain't letting them come on there at all. I would not want to go to that game, man. I've been to Philly. Philly is just it's a different animal, bro. Like I just don't. I would not want to deal with Philly and their fan base. Their fan base is critical and mean and nasty. Nah, man, I would not want to deal with their fan base, man. You watch that thing at the house. Like I ain't watching. Their fans are so nasty, man. I would not want to deal with their fan base at all. So good luck, Commanders. And if you're going to the game, stay safe. Because the Commanders fan base are obnoxious. Philly fan base are violent, especially if they lose. So good luck, man. All right, Ray, get us out of here.
We talking about. I can do this.